What is a function? A function is a block of code that performs a specific task. Function makes your code reusable, modular, and easy to maintain. In that, every function has a name, parameters, which can be optional sometimes, a return type, and a body that contains the logic. Imagine you have a TV remote control. Every button on the remote does something special, right? Now think of each button as a function. A function is like a magic button that tells something to do a specific job. For example, when you press the volume button, it sends a message to the TV saying, make the sound louder. When you press the channel up button, it tells the TV, go to the next channel. In that, a function works the same way. It's like a button that you press to make the computer do something specific. You just give it instructions and it does the job whenever you press it. Or you can say call it, like I will be explaining as we go on in this tutorial. For example, in a program, a function might add two numbers together, like pressing a button to add something. Or another function might show you a picture. It's like pressing play button on your remote. So a function is like a remote control button. You press it and it does something for you. Now let's look at the basic syntax of function. The first thing when you're writing a function is that you write the return type, which can be of any data type. It can be void, it can be integer, it can be string, it can be double, it can be a class itself. Then you give it a function name. This name is unique to every function and it depends on whatever you are using the function for. Let's say, for example, I'm adding two values together. I can call my function name calculate numbers. And then we have our open bracket and close bracket, which takes parameters. So whatever value, whatever data you're going to be working with in your function, you pass it into this bracket as your parameter. And then also, this parameter sometimes can be optional. And next is our curly bracket. Inside our curly bracket, we have the block of code, which we want to execute whenever we call this function. And also after the block of code, you have the return type, which sometimes are optional, depending on the return type you have here. Let's look at a simple example of function. Remember, the first thing you write is the return type. For this particular example, I won't be returning anything. And that's why we make use of void, because I won't be returning anything. And then I can call this greet. So the purpose of this function is that I just want to greet someone. And then we have our open bracket and close bracket. For this example, I won't be passing any parameter. And that's why I said in the introduction that sometimes your parameters are optional. And then I have my curly bracket. And inside this curly bracket, I'm going to be having the block of code which I want to execute anytime I call this function. And for this function, I just want to print hello world. And now let's call our function. To call our function, we simply go into our main method. And this is another example of function, a default function created by that anytime we run our Dart program, this function is being called and our set of instructions inside this function are being executed. Now let's call our greet function. Now we can come here and we can say greet. And this is how we call a function in Dart. The function name with the open and close bracket. Let's run this and see what we have. And you can see we have hello world. What I did now is like I pressed my remote control button saying, okay, I want to greet someone. That's the same thing as calling your function. To call your function, you simply make use of the function name and then open bracket. And whatever block of code you have inside your function is being executed.